Hi, Hollywood Times viewers. Judy Shields here. I am so excited to have with us today a Brazilian illustrator who's based out of Madrid, Spain. He's an amazing illustrator. His name is Gus Morais. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. I'm very happy
See,
of being here with you to talk about this book.
so before we recorded this, you said that you're dialing in from Spain, huh?
Yeah. I live in Spain for 2 years now, and well, I'm loving living in this country. I have met lots of new things, and well, that's it. I'm enjoying it so much. So I love Brazil a lot. I miss Brazil a lot, but I'm happy here.
So you were born and raised in Brazil.
Yeah, I was raised in Brazil. So, well, right now I am 42 years old. So I've been living in Brazil for 40 years. So, yeah, that was a very recent move. And me and my family, I came here with my wife and I have an 8-year son. And we came here to, live a new life and try new
Oh,
things. And it's been amazing for all of us.
oh, great. I've never been there, but I hear it's beautiful. So that's great. Have you
Yeah.
been here to the America? Visited here?
No, I still didn't have the chance, but I have one uncle and I have one aunt that lived in, no, sorry, yeah, one uncle and one aunt that live in the USA. So different places of the USA.
Yeah.
So, well, I didn't have the chance yet, but as soon as I can, I am so curious to visit and know more about the USA.
Well, this book, folks behind me, that will bring you here to the United States because everybody, you'll have a book tour and you will have millions of
Oh,
people. You won't even be able to sign very
okay.
many because you have millions of people lined up to get this book. It's
Oh, nice.
beautifully done,
Oh, thank
beautifully.
you.
So,
Thank you. I think it would be great.
yes, we will look forward to that, and we will definitely be there to cover it when you do your first United States book tour for this one.
Okay, nice.
So what inspired you to take on Taylor Swift's career, as your search and find book? Why Taylor?
Okay, so I've been an illustrator in this style, certain fine illustrations for more than 15 years. And well, I actually had an invitation from Cider Mills Press, which is an imprint from HarperCollins. And they were kind of trying to meet me and know more about my style. And they wanted me to make a certain fine book. But this idea of making, a certain fine book as a visual biography about Taylor Swift is something that appeared when I had the chance to meet my publisher. And well, he came with the idea like, let's do certain fine biographies. And I was like, whoa, I think this is such a nice idea. And then he was like, and we went to start with Taylor Swift. And then, well, to be very honest, I didn't know a lot about Taylor Swift. Of course, I knew the greatest hit from Taylor Swift, but I was not, listening to her. Or to be honest, I've been listening to her everywhere because it plays everywhere in stores, in the
Yeah.
houses of friends, etc. But I wasn't like, whoa, this is Taylor Swift. But when I decided to make this visual biography, I was like, okay, this is a career of a great artist. And one thing I knew from Taylor Swift is that she had very strong visual content, So the concept for the albums, the music videos, and all this stuff, I knew it was rich. I knew it was complex. And for me, this is like, uh, it's the main part of my work. If I have lots of stuff to work with, like lots of imagery, lots of funny ideas, and stuff like that, I can, make very detailed drawings, make lots of jokes or references to different things and ideas that Taylor had, for example. So I heard the idea and I was like, okay, I think this is great. I will have to do some research, some serious research, because I have to know her well. I have to study the songs, listen to the songs, and well, I love doing research too. So for me, it's half half research, illustrating. So it was perfect. And when I started researching about her, I was like, okay, this is really a great idea. We can really make a very cool book with about Taylor's life and everything she has created.
Yeah, it's amazing, you because like the book hasn't come out yet. It will be released, you said in October, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got like a PDF to look at, and it's just
Okay.
stunning, to how did you choose the different eras of how to draw Taylor for the different Taylors you have, several of them.
Yeah. It was like uh, we were discussing at the start, like which will be the places that we are going to depict Taylor. So it's a biography, right? So
Yes.
we have like the cities that she lived. So for the first spread, for example, I started with a mix that shows different places of her early career. So we have, a bit of, reading, West Reading. We have a bit of Wyoming, a bit of Nashville, of course.
Yes.
And yeah, and then later, as her career evolves, we have, London, we have later other places. So
Yeah.
it's like we discussed, me and the editorial team, the places that we would like to show Taylor as to be, true to her key moments in her life. And then once we had depicted that, we went discussing like, okay, what's the most classic outfit for this era of Taylor? So, and where we can hide her in a way that will be funny, that will be more
Yeah.
challenging, or that will be easier. So I think for the first spread is a bit easier to find her, but if you go to, the lover spread, I think it becomes a bit harder to find her. So that's it. It's like I start drawing. There is, of course, lots of sketching and planning, but I've made my choices of places to add her in places that would not be so easy, but
Yeah.
also entertaining.
Oh, bravo. You did an amazing job. Which was
Yeah.
the what was most challenging? They're all so intricate, and did you have one that was so challenging for you?
Yeah, yeah. I think the lover one was the most intricate and the most difficult, but I think it may be my favorite one. And listen, I didn't make it, like in order. I didn't start, I made the first spread for the first era and then the second one. No, I was like, okay, I started with the first one because I wanted to, let's feel a bit how it
Yeah.
will be to, draw Taylor in her series
Yeah.
and etc. Then for the second one, I was like, okay, now I need to get serious, like drawing a spread with, lots of details. And then the second one I did was for 1989, which the location is the Times Square.
Yeah.
And I had lots of fun with it, drawing out the billboards and stuff. So it was difficult, but it was fun. But the Lover one, I think it was the most challenging because I had to depict different places from London and places that Taylor talk about them in the songs, or for example places that she lived, like the in Primrose Hill, or the Big Ben, which is a classic place. So this place, London is a giant city. These places are not close to each other, so you have to make some magic to bring them close. And but this must feel true. This must feel real. So Big Ben is drawn in detail. The Camden Market is also drawn in detail. And in terms of the places where they are located in the maps, I think it's quite precise. One district is closer to the other one, and Big Ben is close to the Thames River. So there is some logic on that. And well, it has to be like precise, but it has to be fun too.
Yeah.
So I have to leave space, for people to interact and and make fun and show funny situations and show references to Taylor songs. So it was the most challenging, but I think it's my favorite from the book.
No, it's very interesting. I'll tell you, it's very good. I noticed like there's tons of Easter eggs, as we call it in the book.
Yeah,
Decide what to
yeah.
include.
Uh,
Theme?
Sorry, I didn't understand how
Oh,
many
your
Easter
little
eggs
the
did I
Easter
put?
eggs, like the
Yeah.
13s, and how did you decide to what to
Oh,
put
yeah,
in
yeah.
there?
How did I decide? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that I like to think of a book as a living thing. Of course, when we started doing that, I had lots of support from my publisher and from the design team, like having the text for each era, explaining the basic facts from each time of her life, and they brought a lot of ideas like, hey, we could put these items for the fans to find, but I also made very, very deep research. I've read books about tailor lives. I've read lots of news. I've watched, YouTube channels from Swifties to understand all the lore, all the details, all the Easter eggs that Taylor hides in her songs. So it was kind of, while I was researching, I was taking notes all the time and keeping them, with me. Like, okay, at one time when I draw this spread for this era, I will be adding this Easter egg. So there are some ideas, for example, the for the red spread, uh, which we have, the classic Taylor Fourth of July parties
Yes.
happening, and well, Red is an album that is very known, for example, for the song All Too Well, and there is, the iconic scarf, the red scarf
Yeah.
that Taylor mentions in the song, and also later in the music video that she makes later in her career. It shows a bit of the red scarf. So this was one idea I had, like, hey, we could have like lots of hidden red scarves, hidden through the mansion, in the swimming pool, in the beach. I don't know, but these are ideas that sometimes they appear early in the process. Sometimes they appear while I'm actually drawing. I'm drawing,
Wow.
then hey, this could be fun. So for me, a book is a living thing. So that's it. It was a month creating and having these ideas and studying a lot and making a lot of research to bring those Easter eggs and to communicate with the fans and
Well, talking about fans, how do you want your fans to feel as they explore each of these pages?
Well, uh, I think this book has, so many layers of content. So I think someone that has just started listening to Taylor Swift, so that fan that is interested in learning more about her, like watching YouTube channels, reading about her. I think this fan will learn a lot by reading this book. So because we have, I think it's a funny way of teaching a bit about Taylor things, things from the Taylor's universe. But the old Swifties, the fans that are listening to her for a long time. I have a sister actually. She is 27 years old and she's a fan of Taylor Swift for 13, 14 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
And while I was making the book, I was like, okay, I want also this to be complex and funny for a Swiftie like my sister, because she's very intelligent. She's always, reading about Taylor, what is happening. So I was like, okay, this must be good to any Swiftie, young or old, and new Swifties or long-time Swifties. And I think each kind of fan will find different layers to these illustrations. I'm really proud of the work we've made here. So I think that's it. I need to finish the question just to say one thing. Search and find is usually like people think it's all about jokes, all about fun. And yes, there is a lot of fun. There are a lot of jokes, but there are a lot of emotional moments too, because we have lyricists from Taylor who, describe some really deep feelings. And I wanted to depict that too in the book. So I think this is something that the fans will also realize as they are reading, is that okay, it's fun, it's cool, but I can also relate to it in a more emotional way. Like, oh, I've been through that too. Just like when they listen to a song from Taylor and they are like, feeling emotional about it. So I think that's it. There are many layers, and the fans will have lots of time to find them.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's like, whoo, it's really done well. And I've read where you've won several awards for your illustration. And how does this project compare in terms of creative fulfillment for you?
So I've got some awards, like I've been drawing the Christmas illustrations for the Washington Post for 8 years now. Okay, so every Christmas they have like the in the style section of the newspaper, the printed
Yes.
one, but also online, the Christmas illustration. And well, I've earned some awards of excellence from the Society of News Design for these illustrations. And more recently, I've made some illustrations for a campaign for Frontify, which is an app that people use to create, layouts and branding. And we for this campaign, I've made illustrations where we had to hide some logos from different brands, but in a interesting way. So people would look to the illustration and try to find the logos. And this one also got an award. It's called the Drone Awards. And well, I think uh, it's something that, well, it's always good to get those awards.
Yeah.
I'm not like moved by awards because, being honest, I've been working for so many time, and the evolution process is so slow, So it's kind of rewarding, and it's fun. And I think that if people think this book is cool and it deserves something like some illustration award, I think it's cool. I am grateful for that. Let's see, right? But my main objective is like, I like to illustrate, I like to express myself, and I want people to relate to the things that I'm expressing to. So even though, I'm talking about Taylor Swift, I'm talking about her life, her career with, very deep respect. I'm using also my tools, my creativity to let's show this perspective of this song, or let's illustrate this reference from some lyric in another different way. So I think it's, for me, I feel regarding this book, for me, the main award for me was like having it published in the way that it will be published, like it's a beautiful book. And well, for me, that's all. That's perfect.
Oh, wow. If you could illustrate the career of another iconic figure, who would it be?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for some time, and well, this is difficult because there are other interesting, artists that I admire. I think I am a guy who likes a lot hip hop. So, well,
Nice.
Snoop Dogg is a guy that I think it would be quite funny and very detailed. He has a very cool career,
Yeah.
like Taylor, with different approaches to music and different times of his life. So I think Snoop Dogg is a cool guy. But I can name others. I think RuPaul is great too. I think there are lots
Yes.
of history and visual content related to RuPaul. I don't know, but there are lots of people that I find culturally relevant and interesting. So let's see what will be for the future.
Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg would be awesome.
yeah.
It would be cool. So, Gus, how old were you when you first drew something, and what did you draw?
Wait, I can give you, a very precise answer because maybe I don't remember, but I remember one thing. I remember my mother was a bit worried because, I was like 7 years old and I liked to draw lots of monsters destroying tall buildings. And that's because I watched a lot of, Japanese series like, it's not Power Rangers. There were others at the time, like Changeman and Flashman and
Yeah.
Jaspion, and so the first things I remember of drawing were, these monsters kind of, making some mess in the cities. And that's interesting because I'm thinking now that maybe, this thing of drawing cities with lots of details and houses, maybe something was there. I don't know.
Well, how about the illustrators, one of like these books? I grew up with Finding Waldo, So when did you draw your first like illustrated book like this, the seek and find kind of things? What was your first
Okay,
one?
the first time I draw certain find, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first opportunity drawing certain find, it's interesting because I was when I started drawing, and I've always worked as illustrator, right?
Okay.
So I have a degree in advertising, but I've never worked with advertising. As soon as I got, graduation and all, I started like, no, I want to try being an illustrator. And well, it was difficult in the beginning, but I decided that I would draw in all styles possible. Like, okay, I'm starting, so I need work. So I will
Yeah.
draw cartoon for kids. I will draw for, instructions manuals. I will draw for books for magazines for adults, science magazines, everything. So
Oh,
uh, I had one invitation sometime. I was working with illustration for, 3 or 4 years, and an art director from a magazine, a printed magazine from Brazil, wrote me like saying, "Hey, we wanted someone to create an illustration like Where's Waldo, but they would have to find our main character. They kind of have a special character for the magazine, which was, a teenage girl. So I was like, okay. And and they were like, but we want to make one per month. So you will be doing the first illustration in January and the second one in February. So 12 illustrations. And I was like, okay, I've never did something like that. I've never drawn certain fine, but I think it could be cool for my portfolio, like having 12 different illustrations in a
wow.
short time. So I kind of went for it, and this was my first experience. So I've drawn these illustrations. The line work was not as cool as it is today because I've learned a lot during this
Yeah.
process. So, well, that's it. It was the first time. After that, I kind of started getting lots of commissions to draw in this style because I think that for a while there were not many illustrators drawing in this style. Right now, we have a bunch of talented illustrators drawing certain fine, but 15 years ago, I think it was something that was kind of a bit more difficult to find, something that would draw in this style. So I think I also had some room to, work a lot in this style and improve it. So that's it.
And then how do you draw this?
Basically, my work is entirely digital, but it's
Okay.
handmade. So I have an iPad. So uh,
Oh,
and Apple Pen, right? So
yeah, yeah.
that's it. I sketch it in the iPad, and when I finish the sketch, sketch is a part of the drawing where we make the lines very in a very raw way, and it's more to show the main ideas. You don't put so much color. It's just to show the main idea and the main composition. And after that, I show my publisher, I show the designers, and they are okay. The sketch is good. Let's go. Let's make the final one. Then I go again to my iPad and I start drawing, and it's all digital.
Yeah.
And I usually make the line work first, and then at another time I start coloring it. The coloring part looks like a bit like the experience for coloring books where everything is
Yes.
white and black and white, and you
Nice.
feel the colors. For me, it's kind of the part of the process which is more like I feel like I'm meditating and relaxing a bit. But later, okay, I added all colors, then I bring some light, some shadows, and well, actually, it's not too linear, right? Because sometimes I draw, I paint, then I draw again, then I put light, then I change the places of things. It's very messy, actually, but I say that it's made digitally and it's made by hand. I draw everything by hand from the beginning to the end.
How long did this book take you to make, to draw?
I think for this book, I may have took about 8 months,
Wow.
maybe a bit more, okay? But I think the part that took most time for it was the research part. So reading about Taylor and collecting all information I could, and after that, uh, bringing it to a structure, So, okay, we have this information. This will go where? To the time where Taylor was, in high school, or maybe this should be at another time of her childhood. So,
Yeah.
we discussed it a lot with the publisher to have a good division of her eras and of her lifetimes in a way that we could have very different spreads for each era. And, each era relates to each album has its own, visual concepts that Taylor created. So we would like to reference that too, like, make it feel like, okay, now I'm feeling a lover atmosphere. No, but now I'm feeling a darker atmosphere, like for Reputation. So uh, I think that I think that's it. And yes, 8 months, so 3 months of research and 5, 6 months drawing everything.
And is a book, is it going to be a hardback?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a gazillion Taylor fans, so you're going to sell a gazillion books.
Yeah, I hope so. It's actually we are doing this first print. They are HarperCollins is spreading it very well. There are some countries that will be receiving the book in English language first,
Okay.
uh, and let's see how things go. And I have hope that it will be well accepted by fans and hopefully people from other countries. And of course, I want Brazilian fans to have their own, version in Portuguese so they can read things. And well, it's visual actually. If you
Yes.
want to
Yeah,
buy
yes.
the book,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know anything about English. I want to read this book because it's visual. Well, it's all there in the illustrations. You will find many things that you can learn and see about Taylor. So this is a cool thing about being a visual biography. But yes, there are plans for the future to have in different languages.
Oh, that would be wonderful. So, how can our viewers or pre-order the book?
Okay, so the book's available for pre-order in Amazon.com. You can
Okay.
find it for pre-order. Okay. In the Cider Mill Press website also. Okay, there is the book also available for pre-order. And
Okay.
well, I've seen the book in many stores. If you search at Target or other Walmart, I think the book is online in many stores across the USA. So I think research on this is, and then the fans can choose their favorite,
Yeah.
store, their favorite bookstore. So,
To get.
but right now I'd say that it's in Amazon.com. It's there, and that's it.
Right. Now, how about you, Gus? Do you have a social media where we can find your other work and find out about you?
Yes, yes. You can always find more about my work. I have an Instagram, which is instagram.com Gus underline Morais. Okay.
Okay.
And I have also there is a creative portfolio which is called Behance. So if you search for behance.net, uh, Gus Morais, no underline in this one, okay? Just Gus Morais. You can find a lot of other works too. So, well, I think the Behance is more focused in my professional career. So you can find works from many years ago. And
Oh my gosh, it's an amazing book. I can't wait for everyone to be able to order it and it come out. Well, we appreciate you taking the time talking to us here at the Hollywood Times. And also this will be put up on our YouTube channel, the Hollywood Times Official, the interview. So we look forward to talking with you again, maybe closer to when it comes out in October, how
oh,
things are. We want to hear about your book tour.
okay, thank you very much. I appreciate a lot the opportunity you're giving me now. And yes, of course, I'm always available to discuss more about the book. And that's it. When the book is actually published, I think we would have more things to show and hear the opinions of everyone, the
Yeah.
feedback. So I'm very excited. And
So yeah, we'll talk to you after it gets released and some more about how things are going then, okay? We
okay,
appreciate
thank you very much, Jody.
it. Thank you so much.